Here comes Krampus, here comes Krampus, yeah, 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 yeah. Here comes Krampus, yeah, 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 yeah. He will stick you in his sack and throw it in the stream. Oh, Krampus. Christmas time is Krampus time. Christmas time is Krampus time of year. Krampus time of year.
All right, folks, so before we get into tonight's episode, I just want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, and that sponsor, once again, is Stamps.com. Since 1990, Stamps.com has been an indispensable tool for nearly 1 million businesses. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS shipping right to your computer. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. All you need is a computer and a standard printer, no special supplies or equipment. Within minutes, you're up and running, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send. And you'll get exclusive discounts on postage and shipping from USPS and UPS. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. No traffic, no lines. Cut the confusion out of shipping with Stamps.com. New rate advisor tool. You can compare shipping rates and timelines to easily find the best option. Save time, not my time because this isn't a long ad read, and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk, and with our promo code POD, that's POD, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in POD. That's POD. Stamps.com, promo code POD, Stamps.com. Never go to the stinky post office ever again.
Is it smelly?
And away we go. What's going on, folks? How we doing? Welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Hope everybody is having a very nice December, a spooky December, if I dare say so.
Festive.
Very festive. My name is Mike. I am, of course, the host of America's Hometown Horror. But, of course, I'm not alone in this spooky endeavor.
No?
And tonight, I have one of my usual esteemed co-hosts with me in studio. That would be Kat. How you doing?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Very excited for tonight.
Yes, same.
But I would be remiss if I did not give a proper introduction to my two other co-hosts for tonight's episode. Andrew is down in South Carolina on some family business. Andrew is not here tonight, although he wishes he could be. And, my two guests, you may have heard one of them on a few of our episodes before. That first one is my good buddy, Seth. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Mike. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. You may have heard Seth's beautiful voice on the Squeegee Life podcast in past episodes, or I would say pretty much on every episode since the show started, right?
Yep.
Every Wednesday night live on YouTube.
Yep, yeah. 8 to 10 Wednesday nights. We talk about really boring stuff, and come check it out.
I will say, you talk about boring stuff, but it is a very interesting podcast. Listen to you guys mess around and talk some shit, so I'm a fan. I tune in.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah,
as much like this one is.
Especially because I work with you, and I know somewhat a little bit about the window cleaning industry. It's nice to hear some industry insight. But on her first podcast ever, our first time having Seth's lovely wife and our good friend Christine on the show. Christine, how are you?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Feeling all right?
Happy to be here. Pleasure.
I know you listen to a lot of podcasts, but your first time on a podcast, I should say, right?
Yes.
Yes. Feeling excited? Feeling nervous?
I am.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Well, I can assure you,
right.
very low pressure, no need to feel nervous here at all, even though Kat has a camera in your face right now.
I don't have a camera in anyone's face.
Oh, yeah, you
The
just
camera's
did.
never
Yeah, that's all
intimidating.
right. So yeah, I guess, as we usually ask people that are people that are first-time guests on our show, just a couple of baseline questions.
All right.
I know you are scared very easily. What is your favorite scary movie?
I love Saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
all-time favorite, Saw 2.
Okay.
Really love Saw 2.
Interesting. I like that pick.
Yes.
Okay. Saw 2's good. Not quite as good as the first one. So, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show
Everyone's
you.
opinion.
The two of you are just cut from the same cloth because
pretty much.
Kat loves Saw. And I love the first Saw too, but the sequels, they kind of went off the rails a little bit. So
I like the torture ones. For
Yeah.
some reason. I don't like to be spooked, but I like when I watch people get tortured.
Yeah.
That like mid-2000s like torture era
porn.
that was, that was a fun era.
Like Hostel and all those. Yeah, the
Yeah.
torture porn era.
Yeah.
Like the
Just,
German
like, people
Shepherd
just
biting that
bleeding all over
guy's
the
like
place.
ding dong off. That was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh my god.
ding dong.
Yeah, little ding dong.
See, Andrew's still here in spirit. I feel like Andrew would be happy that we said ding dong.
Thanks.
I was paying a little homage to
That's
Andrew
all right.
there.
Andrew's about as much here tonight as he was at this haunted attraction the other night. That's about all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. More on that in a little bit in little detail. But okay, cool. So Saw, appreciate it. Saw 2 specifically. And have you been to a haunted house before this experience the other night?
I have.
Okay.
I went quite a few times. What is it? The Spooky World, like the one in New Hampshire?
Yep.
And where they have like 3 different haunted houses.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I always have to like try to keep my cool. Be like, if they know that I'm scared, they're going to scare me.
Right.
So pretend like I don't care.
Well, I feel like it's always easy to try and scare like the pretty blonde girls when you're walking through a haunted house if you're an
Absolutely.
actor there. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like it's much. I would think that anyone that works at a haunted house would tell you it's much more fulfilling to scare the big guys because then it's like a better quality scare. Like if you can, obviously the girls are walking through, they're scared, they're holding on to their boyfriends, but. Good. All right. So that's good to hear. We've been to Spooky World numerous times as well, which we've covered on this podcast. And we're here to talk about another haunted attraction tonight, and which is a funny thing to say, considering that it's not October, right? It is, in fact,
December.
December. It is, in fact, December of the year 2021, the year of our Lord. And it's, what's today? The 9th?
yes.
The 9th? December 9th? So I'm sure you're asking yourself, dear listeners, how could we possibly be talking about a haunted attraction tonight? And let me tell you why. We had the opportunity, the pleasure, I should say, this past Sunday to go to a little event up in Nashua, New Hampshire at Fright Kingdom, and it's called the Fright Before Christmas. So Fright Kingdom is a very popular haunted attraction in New England that obviously is open during the Halloween season. But they go the extra mile, and they open for a couple of other holidays, which more on that later, but they open for Christmas and some other stuff, and we had the opportunity. It's basically 3 nights in December. They do it every year, and it's called the Fright Before Christmas, and we had the opportunity to go through that. So I'm very excited to talk about this. It's a unique experience, something that I would recommend to anybody that is a fan of Christmas-themed horror, Halloween, haunted attractions, and all of the above. You need to go and you need to see this. So I guess I'll defer to my guests here, and you guys are our guests. So I'll ask you guys first. I mean, without going into a ton of detail, we'll ask more questions in a little bit. What did you think of this attraction? What were your expectations going in? And I guess were they met? Did you guys have a nice time? Christine, ladies first. I will start with you.
I thought it was awesome. I was not expecting it to be so big.
Oh my God, I know, right?
It was
You're in
huge.
there for like an hour.
Oh, easily.
Getting scared the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's like it was cool. I give it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs way up.
Look at this. Did you prep
I
her
did
on the
not prep
the
her.
cat
No,
scoring
I did
system on the
not.
way in?
No.
Okay, maybe not, because she didn't give it the cat 2 thumbs way up.
Right,
That's usually
correct.
what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 thumbs way
If I
way
knew
up.
that was the gauge, then I'd say way.
Yeah. Seth, what about you, my friend?
I thought it was really cool. It was, I didn't know what to expect. Some haunted houses are just that, it's kind of rinky-dink. And we got there, and, as soon as you walk in, like, the line was cool. Actually, half of the time you were in a line, you didn't realize you were in a line. It almost had, like, museum kind of set up. Then, you go in a haunted house, then you go through to another line, but it's not really a line. It was really, really interesting the way they did it. It flowed really nice.
Yeah.
I do have to say my wife positioned herself pretty well in there. She was dead middle, and I think she was set herself up well to not get too scared. I could kind of hear it coming, but
Yep.
I think they did a great job. They had people who really loved doing it, and honestly, some of the animatronics that were there were like
Oh my god,
incredible.
I know.
I actually had that written down. They were unbelievable.
They were huge.
I'll talk a little bit more on that. But, Kat, what about you?
Oh, I had no idea like what I was getting myself into going into this because I feel like there's been other haunted attractions we've been to like during the spooky season that were kind of like, I don't know, like they're okay. Certain ones were better than others. So I didn't really. I mean, we've never done this one before. You've talked about this for like years now. I feel like, right?
Yep.
So I didn't really have any sort of expectation going in there, and I was definitely blown away. Like it was amazing. It was you could tell that there was like a ton of work put into it. The people who like worked there really cared about everything. Everyone looked like costume, makeup, the whole nine was awesome. The animatronics were great. Like what Seth was talking about the line, that's awesome. I mean every part of it like totally exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you guys said 100%.
And Krampus was awesome too.
I mean, anything Krampus themed, sign me up. And I guess my one regret, and I posted about this on Instagram the day that we were up there in Nashua. If you were not at this event, if you were lucky enough to be in Plymouth, our buddy Andy at Inebriart did actually host the second annual, not counting 2020, the COVID year. Jesus, I can only speak. Way to go, podcast host. Learn how to talk. Their second annual Krampus scavenger hunt, bar crawl type thing. So it was basically hosted at the BBC. Bring a canned good, you show up, and then basically they give you a scavenger hunt. You're going to go around Plymouth and do all kinds of stuff. So I saw all the snaps and all of the pictures of people doing stuff, and it looked like it was a great time. I just wish that we were able to attend this year. Next time we will definitely
Absolutely,
be there.
yeah.
But I had never been to this event until the other night. I've never been there for the Halloween version of this event, and now I can say that I want to go back any opportunity that I can get. This attraction might also be the new leader in the clubhouse for me in New England. I think this is far and away the best experience that I've had. I apologize, Barrett's Haunted Mansion. I still love you guys more than anything in the world. But, I mean, just in terms of sheer scale, budget, animatronics, all the things you guys mentioned, it was just an immersive experience.
It was a much
from
larger
start
scale.
to finish.
I mean, it was like theme park quality, like animatronics. I was like blown
100%,
away that this place could have this.
100%. It was incredibly well done. Has it all. Huge sets, awesome actors, great makeup, great masks, great costumes, and as we've mentioned before, a ton of very large and very fluid audio animatronic figures that are sprinkled throughout the entire event. This has to have a very large budget, I would say.
I would think so.
Based on the quality of this event, and it shows, right? I think when you're walking through, it's a truly unique experience, especially when you put in the lens of the whole thing is rethemed to Christmas, because they're open for the entire month of October, and probably, I would say, the last weekend in September, like most haunted attractions now are. And then they were able to turn this around into a Christmas-themed event in just a couple of weeks.
Right.
3-4 weeks.
Which, I mean, in terms of, just operationally, is incredible to think of. Like, just they must have had people working around the clock to try and get this ready to go.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know they've done it before, so they have a history of setting this up, but it's just still truly incredible to me. And this experience, I feel like it's one that you really can't get anywhere else in New England unless you feel like driving to, and I put this in quotations, you can't see this in the podcast, but Connecticut. There is a place on the Connecticut and New York border called Fright Haven, which I'd like to visit someday. They're the only other place in New England that does a Christmas-themed haunted house. They also do a few other holidays as well. They do a Valentine's Day haunt and a St. Patrick's Day haunt. But I also just love the idea, because I'm a crazy horror fan. I love the idea of horror-themed Christmas stuff. There's so much you can draw from that, whether it's like Krampus and everything you saw in there, right? Like, weird, crazy elves, like demonic Santa Clauses, zombie, reindeer, all the stuff that was in there.
Went on their back and did that, like the little things with their fingers. They
Yep.
had the little, like, clinky things,
So
and they were just walking around.
I was trying to figure out what they had, and they were definitely, like, running and getting a running start and rolling. So I think they had, like
Arm rollers.
wheels
Yes.
on their elbows and knees, and then they had things on their fingers that they could use to like scrape along
So
the ground
cool.
and make sounds.
Oh my God.
So you had like similar to Barrett's, you had like actors like roaming actors on the outside, like walking around trying to scare you. The entire outside of the house was themed at Christmas, which is incredible. They had like, slowed down, grainy Christmas music playing the outside. It made you really feel like it wasn't just a Halloween event. It was a Halloween event that was re-themed to Christmas. God bless you.
You had the carolers, which were kind of cool.
Oh,
you know
I'm
what I mean?
so
In the
glad
beginning,
you brought that up.
Yeah, the
They were
carolers
so
was like
cool.
a really nice touch, but like
Yeah.
the 4 haunted houses, I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked in, I had no idea what to expect. We go through the first one, I'm like, oh, that was cool. And I'm like, we're still
Holy
inside
shit,
the building.
like, how much more do we have to go?
Where
what's
else are we
on here?
going?
Yeah, there were a few times where I was like, my God, how long is this?
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, how long is this? We definitely were in there for the better part of an hour.
Yeah,
No
easily
doubt about
45
it.
minutes to an hour.
Because our time
Easily.
slot was 6:30. I think we probably got into the outside line maybe like 6:40 or something
Yeah.
like that after we all like went to the
Yeah.
bathroom, like hung out for a little bit. We got in. We were probably in the actual inside part by 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the latest.
And we were out of there by like, I mean,
8?
almost 8.
Yeah, I think like almost 8 o'clock.
So it's
Worth every penny.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
a truly worthwhile experience, something worth spending your money on. And I had an absolute blast. I would say if you're a fan of haunted attractions, you need to go. If you're a fan of Halloween, you need to go. And especially if you want to celebrate Christmas in a much different way than ever before, you simply must go.
Even if you're not, it's just an awesome experience.
fun.
Like you could I mean, I wouldn't bring little ones there, but
No.
like if you got like
It was
12
pretty intense.
If you got 12, 13-year-olds that like, somewhere in that range, you could go and have like a really good time.
Absolutely.
I also think the actors in there gauge people pretty well on who to really kind of give it to and who not.
Yeah.
So I felt like, they were pretty safe, except for the girl in front of us who screamed at absolutely everything.
Oh yeah.
I could hear her. I'm like, well, something's coming up because
Yeah.
she's screaming.
Yeah.
But,
And it's like a type of thing, like, you can make a day out of it, like we did. And I know, so we talked about it in the last podcast we did that I volunteered to be the DD for that day. And basically we went up, we watched football at a place, we watched the 1 o'clock games, and then we went to another place for the 4 o'clock games. And
Part of the 4 o'clock games.
Part of the 4 o'clock games. And then, we had some good food, good drink, hung out, had a good time, and then we went and we did this and we came home. We were home by like 9:15, 9:30. Like, it was great. It was worth it. And like, honestly, like, people think New Hampshire, like, it's Nashua, New Hampshire, so it's right over the Massachusetts border. It took us probably from Plymouth an hour and 20 minutes to get there. And Christine, I know you're from the North Shore, so it's like, it's really not that far.
yeah, and you don't
like-
even have to make a day of it. You could hang out on Sunday, leave at 4 o'clock, get up there, get a quick bite,
Oh,
and
for
then
sure.
go.
Yeah, you don't even have to do like what we did. You can
I
go up there,
loved
like,
what we did, but
Yeah.
like honestly, the options are there for whatever. Both bars were really cool.
Yeah.
The first Bart's bar, what was the name of it?
Thirsty Moose.
That
The
place
Thirsty
was
Moose.
awesome.
Yeah, we went to the Thirsty Moose first. That was good. Ton of beers on tap. Some good food.
Tons of beers, yeah.
Tons of TVs.
So many.
Which they
They-
have it
every
like
game
they have it
on.
like old school, so it's not red zone. It's all the games on all the TVs, so it was like tough to figure out what to watch.
Yeah.
And the other bar, we were actually talking to the owner, you and I, Seth,
Yep.
Casey McGee's,
Yep.
which is in downtown Nashua. That place was awesome
Yeah,
too.
they got great karaoke.
Yeah,
I guess
really,
they do
really
a lot
cool
of live
stuff.
music. So if you like that, and
Yeah.
you're in the area,
Yep.
check it out.
You know, you can get a nice pour of Guinness there.
Yep.
Andrew was drinking some black and tans,
Irish nachos.
Irish
It
nachos.
certainly was.
Couple too many.
Yeah, certainly was. Certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Andrew, Andy boy, we'll miss you. We'll see you next week when you get back. So just a couple of quick facts about Fright Kingdom before we talk a little bit more about what we thought of the event. From what I can tell you, Fright Kingdom is, according to them, New England's largest indoor haunted attraction.
That makes
It
sense.
features 5 huge haunted attractions of pure terrifying entertainment. Just to put it into perspective, last year, so I mentioned they do the Fright Before Christmas every year. December of 2020, they actually had to postpone this event due to fucking stupid COVID horseshit. And they actually had it this past July.
Oh, really? That's
So they called it the Fright Before Christmas in July. And it was held on between July 16th and July 18th. So again, 3 nights again. So a limited event that you could only go 3 nights. I actually wanted to go to this, but I was in Las Vegas for a bachelor party that weekend. So that kind of took precedence over it. I mean, woe is me, I guess.
Yeah. Rough
Bummer.
life you live.
Bummer. But when this attraction is not in Christmas mode, here are the attractions inside this gigantic warehouse. And when I say gigantic, it's gigantic. So the things essentially that we walk through, here's what they're themed to, the rest of the Halloween season. So one of them is called Z Apocalypse, which is zombie themed. The other one is called The Abandoned. One of the other ones is called Bloodmare Manor. The other one's called Psycho Circus, and then they also have a Monster Midway, which we kind of saw on the outside, which has like vendors and food and shops and all that stuff. So it's a lot of stuff to experience. And I would also argue that the experience waiting in line, as you already mentioned, Seth, is another attraction in and of itself. Because walking through, as a horror fan, I mean, you guys saw me. I was at the front of the line. I had my phone out. I was snapping pictures every 35 seconds of everything that we walked past. I put a bunch of them on Instagram, so if you're listening to this episode, you can go on our Instagram page. You can see everything that I took. I got some good photos. But, like, you walk inside, and essentially the first part of the line is they have, like, almost like a little mini horror museum with, like, movie props and sets. They had like
Samara and
they had Samara. And... They had Freddy, Michael, and Jason all in different displays, and they're all wearing Christmas hats. Like it was all rethemed to Christmas, right? So like a ton of stuff that you can take pictures of. It's just really really cool if you're a horror fan, and it didn't make you feel like you were waiting in line. Like I felt like that was part of the experience when you got in there, right? Kept you entertained the entire time. And there were also roaming actors in there. Like we got an awesome picture with Krampus.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Andrew. When we were in there, that was pretty good.
The soul of Andrew.
Yeah, the soul of Andrew. So I don't want to rag. Andrew's not here to defend himself. Andrew had a little bit too much to drink, so Andrew had a tough time going through this. But Andrew, we miss you. Like I said, you'll be back.
He made it.
Yeah, he made it.
We all made it.
We all made it. He made it through. And. So in addition to the Halloween season, Fright Kingdom obviously hosts the Fright Before Christmas, which we went to. But they also host a one-night-only event in February that is Valentine's Day themed. And it's called Be Mine Forever. And they retheme the entire event to Valentine's Day.
Do you die in there?
So like demon cupids and I don't know. I've never been.
Be mine forever.
I would love to go. It sounds awesome. Honestly, like they got me with this. Like, I would go to anything that they did if they redid it for anything.
Yeah, they kind of won me over there.
I'm not gonna say but like, don't you think like Till Death Do Us Part might have been like, I don't know, maybe they did that last year or something.
It might have. There's probably another haunted attraction
thinking,
named that if I had to think of like something like that. Maybe they couldn't get the name. I have no idea.
Oh, yeah, there could be something
true.
that's like copyright.
A copyright thing.
Yeah.
Be
they
mine
get you when you're big.
forever.
And honestly, to be honest with you, I feel like it was almost Disney quality in the way of like where the line is also an attraction. They did a really good job at that, right?
I was saying while we were walking through, I was like, this reminds me of like It's a Small World, but like horror themed.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
It like made it kind of like kid friendly too, because it's like, like it just keeps you entertained the whole time, and you're just looking at all these animatronics that are like cool.
The highlights for me in that first part that we walked in, as you walk around, first one was the audio animatronic band that they had that was playing Christmas music.
Yep.
That was awesome. Then they had the gigantic Krampus animatronic that was like dangling the kid by his legs.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. I got a great picture of that. And then also, you come around the corner, you're looking at more of these sets, and then they had, Seth, you mentioned it, those carolers that were dressed up like zombies with masks, and they were singing Christmas carols. Like, there was like 5 of them, like actually singing, and it was like so cool. Like, it took, like, it almost reminded me of A Nightmare Before Christmas. Something that like blends the two holidays. Probably my 2 favorite holidays so well together.
Probably a great movie that you love.
It is a great movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. But I was just blown away. It was just it was so well done. I can't sing its praises high enough. That's just my opinion. Last fact that I had. Last but certainly not least. Fright Kingdom, kind of a celebrity. Kind of famous. It was featured in the 2020 Netflix film Hubie Halloween.
Oh,
you guys
wow.
seen this
That's why
movie?
they had so much of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep,
Now.
yep.
I was like, why do they love
So
that?
Yeah,
so like if you watch that movie, and I'm going to go back and watch it now, but like
Yeah.
some of the scenes that we walked through are actually featured in that movie. That movie was filmed on location in Salem. Ton of good people, like the usual Sandler people, so like Steve Buscemi,
Yeah.
you know, Tim Meadows, Maya Rudolph, like all
those
those people. Yep. But it wasn't actually shot on location at Fright Kingdom in Nashua. So what they actually did, and I researched this, some of the sets from the haunted house were actually disassembled and brought to Massachusetts, where the movie was being filmed. So they took them off-site from Nashua, brought them to Mass, reset them up, and then reshot the movie for scenes with Adam Sandler and Ray Liotta walking through this haunted attraction. Pretty cool.
That's
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And also, you know, we saw a nod to this when you were walking in line. You saw the posters for Hubie Halloween. They had the cardboard cutout standee of Adam Sandler. So, like, it's like a
That
little
all makes
nod
more
to that.
sense,
So, like,
yeah.
if you weren't familiar with the movie, you might be like, "What the fuck is this?" But like, if now knowing that, you know that. So, if you watch that movie, look for the Fright Kingdom sets in there. You'll definitely see them.
Now you know. You
That's
know.
cool.
Now I have
If
to
you
watch
don't
it.
know, now you know, baby. Now you know. All right. So in terms of tickets and getting in, unfortunately, if you're listening to this right now, you can't get in because the event's over. It was only for 3 nights, as I mentioned before. It was from December 3rd to December 5th. We went on December 5th, the Sunday. It was $30 to get in. Same as the ticket price for the regular Halloween season, which I feel like for $30,
Fair? Very fair.
that is more than fair.
For quite an hour of entertainment.
yeah.
$30 for an hour of awesome Halloween fun. That's fucking great. Sign me the fuck up.
I'm sure they were sold out all
Any day of
weekend
the week.
too.
So I was wondering that too, but like, so on our way out, right? Because we had the earliest time slot available. So there were people in line for the 6:30 time slot, the 7 o'clock time slot. We were walking out. There was like nobody in line. So I wonder.
No, but there's all those people coming towards us as we were leaving too.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like it was as packed as when we first got there.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
maybe
first
the
two
crowds
time
weren't.
slots were
Yeah,
big.
It's
probably the
also
most.
Sunday. Like people
True.
on a Sunday aren't really apt
True.
to be going out late.
I bet Friday night and Saturday night are their biggest.
Probably
nights.
was probably
yeah.
was mobbed.
Mobbed, yeah.
Mobbed. And it was also very cold the night that we went there,
Yeah.
so that probably had an effect on it as well. But yeah, I think it's a great value given the amount of attractions that they have, and like I mentioned, I think it definitely took us the better part of an hour to get through that, which you know is awesome. And you had to like, just so you know, ticketing. I don't know if it's going to be the same moving forward, but because of COVID, you had to pick a time slot to walk through. Maybe it won't be like that next year, but just so you know, that's how we had to buy the tickets this year. Yeah, so I guess now we can talk a little bit more about what we thought about the overall experience. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but we can go into more detail here. Crack away, my folks. Crack away. I already know the answer in my mind to this. Did you guys feel like that this was themed enough to Christmas, or did it feel more like a Halloween event to you? Christine, I'll start with you.
I think the in-betweens were very Christmassy, like as you're going through and like all the like people outside of the haunted houses.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really think that the haunted houses themselves were Christmas themed.
Yeah, aside from the costumes, I kind of agree with you. There were a few scenes where I thought that like there were a few they put like some snow in there and some Christmas lights, that type of stuff. So they did like a good job.
They like fluffed them up a little bit.
But like the one that lost me, for instance, was the 3D like circus
That was
themed one.
Yes.
Which is very cool. It's very tough. Like, you can't redo that entire thing for Christmas in a month. You just can't. So you got to do the best you can to retheme it. That was the only one that I felt that was like totally not at all Christmassy, but I felt like everything else was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost weird. I almost feel like that one was my favorite one.
Yes,
Maybe because
same.
it wasn't Christmassy is why I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still great. A ton of it was Christmassy. I had a blast. I had a good time.
I think one of the things that they did was maybe they kept stuff up from Halloween and just kind of fluffed it up to be a little bit Christmassy, but then they dressed up all the characters to be Christmas themed,
Yeah.
which kind of made it feel more Christmassy because they just kind of wandered around through everything. But yeah, the whole actual like houses or scare zones or whatever you want to call them, like
Yeah.
the in-betweens were Christmassy, like where they did all the little like fences and all that stuff. They really made that Christmassy.
I thought that really was the part where they shined. Like, we already mentioned the carolers. That was unbelievable. And then also, if you guys remember, like when we walked over, I think it was the second attraction where we were kind of in line for a little bit. We walked over that like uphill bridge and we came down. And when it was finally the turn for our group, it was kind of like that guy who was like a London, like, Christmas themed, like, hobo, and he was like, is this your first time here? Well, me too. They don't even know I'm here, so shh. And he had, like, a fake, like, bag of booze and, like, a paper bag, and he was, like, drinking out of it, and he's like, okay, how many in your group?
And then
like,
just
5. Andrew. Oh, Andrew. But, I mean, I just, like... Yeah.
I'm getting all my shots in while he's out here.
Just,
he's going to punch me in the nose. When he
remember this when Andrew busts your balls later, because you're going to be like...
He owes me. It's payback.
Outside was themed great to Christmas. All the Christmas lights that were up, all the decorations on the outside were all themed to Christmas. So I thought overall, I didn't think that it was not very much themed to Christmas. I thought they did a good job, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Nice.
Thanks.
So many words.
Thanks, Kat. Yeah, because we know that you're very good with words as well. Great.
Yes.
Great.
Oh, great.
All right, guys, did you have a favorite part or a favorite section of the house? I guess I'll toss it to whoever wants to go first. Christine, if you want to go.
I was trying to think of this on my way here. I think overall that 3D haunted house was the bomb.
It was really cool.
But I was also like feeling myself and got really tripped up when it was like that tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like spinning and I felt like I was going to friggin' tip over.
I know.
I felt you grabbed the back of my sweatshirt and pulled me against the railing. And I was like, oh, all right, well, let's go. Yeah, that was a ton of fun. I think the manor one was probably one of my favorite ones because someone legitimately like scared the crap out of me in there. The only time I went, oh my god!
Yeah.
Like, it was. I thought that one was the most well done, but I really did like the 3D one too.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna third that.
Okay.
The 3D one's awesome. I love those ones. Those are like even at Spooky World they have one like that. Like that one's always my favorite one. Whenever they give you the 3D glasses, I kind of hate 3D things, but it's not really. It's kind of 3D, but like I hate going to 3D movie. I don't know. I hate the whole glass. I don't know, but
you love that one.
But I do love it.
I feel like
the glow in the dark
I feel like
thing.
most haunted attractions you go to now, there's at least some element of 3D. Obviously, Spooky World there is. At this attraction there is. It's very common. It's very common to see a 3D haunted house. For me,
No, what about you, Mike?
I'm trying to think. There were so many parts that I liked. I don't know if I have an exact favorite, but I honestly I just thought the in-between experiences where you're walking through and there were a lot of animatronics and just like the actors that were themed at Christmas interacting with you while you were in line was great. But I also really liked a lot of the costumes and the masks, which leads me directly into my next question. I'll go into it here. I'll start here. Did you have a favorite actor, a favorite mask, or a favorite costume? And I had quite a few. Obviously, Krampus holds a near and dear place to my heart. But I think it was one of the first rooms that we walked through in the first section of their haunted houses. The people that were dressed up like gingerbread men with like the big circular heads.
Those were great. I forgot about those.
Those were awesome. Yeah. And then there's actually also an actor, I think she's been at Spooky World and or Barrett's, that follows our account on Instagram. She was dressed up like a penguin, a scary penguin in one of the houses, in one of the rooms in the house. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she was in there. I thought that was a really cool costume too. And also, like I feel like I forgot about this. My favorite parts, anything animatronic related. I'm just fascinated by those. You know, being a fan of theme parks, I find those to be the most incredible things that some of the more expensive theme parks like Disney World and Universal do. And I just thought it was incredible to see the level of audio animatronic figures that were at this event, like in fucking Nashua, New Hampshire. That was incredible.
Such a weird spot to be like a really good place.
Especially just like the gigantic one outside. Like right by the entrance.
Yeah.
Huge.
Enormous.
Huge. 30 feet tall. Full movement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
30
huge.
feet tall,
Incredible.
15 feet wide. I mean, it was a big deal. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool. They put like, they're trying to get you to come in, and then you go inside, and it's still like great quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that. Mike might remember this reference from like some of the guys who were dressed up like the bad guys in the old Batman movies from the 90s.
Yep.
Do you remember that? Like they had
Yes.
like that look with like what's the one with Penguin?
Returns.
Okay, yeah. Keaton wasn't in that one. That was
Keaton.
Was it
the
Keaton
one with the
in
penguin?
Returns?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kilmer.
Yeah.
Kilmer was in Batman Forever.
Yeah, okay. It was Forever was that. Yeah, it reminded me of like playing like Super Nintendo and like beating up like they had that kind of look to them. They were really cool.
Awesome.
I dug that one.
Okay, Christine, what about you? Did you have a favorite costume, favorite makeup, favorite actor, favorite something that you saw?
I thought that the guys running around on their like hands and knees, like in a crab, like
outside
crab walk, they were spooky. Like they scared me. I'm like, get away from me.
Those guys were awesome.
Yeah,
I loved them.
they were good. They were like, they all stayed in character like super well too.
That's what I loved about it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved the same thing. I was like, oh, these people aren't like even like you'd go up to them or like go, and they wouldn't say anything back. They would say nothing back to you.
I was so afraid. I was like, what's up? Like to all
Right?
of them, like,
Yeah.
okay, what's up?
There was someone following me at one point. I think he was some crazy clown something.
Are they following you or following Andrew?
No, they were following me because I was pushing Andrew forward.
Yeah. Kat, what about you? Did you have anything that that stood out to you in terms of makeup or costuming?
I just thought all I mean, I know that everyone had to obviously follow like CDC protocols and like wear masks and stuff. So I feel like for them to be able to improvise and still do like a really good job with their makeup and stuff, it was awesome.
Were they all wearing masks?
I think
They all were.
They all were. I was like, I don't think I remember seeing anyone's like lips or
I
anything.
didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I actually meant to mention at the beginning of it. So you obviously this year you needed to wear a mask the entire time that you were inside. I'm hoping to God that next year that's not a requirement if we're past this in the world, but
Who knows?
having been to haunted attractions during COVID, I feel like in certain ones it's very much easy to see that the actors are wearing masks, which I felt like for me takes a bit of the immersion away. For this, I feel like I couldn't even tell.
No.
Like they were so well done.
I had no
didn't know.
idea.
I actually
was
didn't
great.
notice
Yeah.
that.
It was
Now
great.
thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, they had to be.
They did, yeah.
Grape. It was awesome. So actually, and there was something else that I just thought of, and it takes me to my next question, which was, did any of you guys get scared? And if so, how many times? Which I already know the answer because we all got scared at various points. One of the most awesome scenes for me, there were two that I thought of. I got scared multiple times because I was walking at the front. I kept continuing to look back for a reason, and there were several times when I was looking back and all of a sudden I would turn around and somebody would be in my face, so I feel like I got scared a little bit more than I normally would in a haunted attraction because I didn't see the scares coming. But there were two scares in particular that I'm thinking of, and Seth, you remember both of them because you were behind me and you saw them both. One of them, there was a room that we walked through, and there was like a scary elf guy in the ceiling. And he was just like sitting there, and you could tell that it was an actor, and he was moving. And when we were about to walk into the next room, he dropped down a stocking on a string right in our face. I was just like, holy shit. That fucking got me really, really good. And I thought probably the most innovative and creative scare that I got, I don't know, I don't think it got me. It got one of you guys, though.
It definitely got me.
So, like,
at the
picture
end.
a lit up Christmas tree prop that is hollow on the inside. There was somebody crouched inside of this thing wearing a completely black head to toe getup, and it was a black room, so you couldn't see them. And all of a sudden, they got up from inside that Christmas tree and like yelled and screamed, and they got one of us.
Oh, that wasn't what I was talking about.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
But that was a good
I
one.
got
That was a
you.
good scare. Very good scare.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
I think I got you. I remember that.
Yeah.
'cause it was I saw it because Mike saw it,
Yeah.
and then you were too short to see over me, and I just kind of slid out of the way.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
could get you.
it did get me because now I'm looking I'm like rewinding my brain, being like, oh wait a minute, because I remember being like, I thought that was a Christmas tree.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was a
Yeah.
Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
Yep.
my god. No,
And
that
then
definitely
Andrew
was
was like,
me. No, yeah. But you know who else got me? It's that person on the bungee thing.
Oh, I forgot about
Oh my
that
god!
one.
And then
I didn't know they were
like,
on bungees, yeah.
Yeah, and then it like squirted air at you.
Yes, like an air cannon, and they were on bungee cords. That
And
was
it squirt.
fucking so cool. Squirtle. Very, very cool.
That head that dropped out of the ceiling when your head was turned, and then you turned back around.
Whoa!
Like, in your face.
Yeah.
I think that mostly just scared you because you weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
But that was funny.
I know. What about everybody else? Anything else, Christine?
I don't remember in particular what scared me the most, but I know that I got like spooked multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I could always
Kat,
tell when
Seth?
she got scared. Just like a quick grab on the back of my sweatshirt. And she's a little nervous.
Andrew scared me most of the time, so.
Yeah, she's scared.
You know what else freaked me out because I'm a bit claustrophobic was the part when we were walking through like the circus themed house.
Oh, the
And
tent.
the red and white themed tent where essentially we had
right.
to the entire thing you were like what, like pulling through like red and white tarps to
Yeah.
try and get out of it. I was just like, okay, I'm ready for this to be done. I want to get out of here
Yeah,
now. Like,
I-
let's fucking I'm sober as a judge. Get me out of here right
That's
now.
funny you say that because I feel like that was the weakest point. Because I remember seeing that and being like, oh, this is just kind
Oh,
of
that freaked me the
See,
fuck
but
out.
I forget that you're like claustrophobic and whatever, and you just want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
but
I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
I was also
thought
at the
that
end,
was,
so I could follow everyone else. Like versus you being like leading the way, not knowing where to
Yeah,
go.
I thought
So
that was freaky. I
could be
thought that was
scary.
definitely freaky. Any other scares you guys want to talk about? Did we cover them all?
I had that one guy that was like crouched behind you. I couldn't see. Mike is, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but Mike's not a small guy. Mike's probably 6'2", 6'3". And I couldn't see around him, and I was like looking. It was like a corner turn, like obviously where they get you. So I'm looking at every corner. But he was crouched and then popped up and then just kind of like grabbed me. And I was like, I didn't see him until he grabbed me. I thought it was you. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And I didn't want to scream like, oh my God. But like I almost did. Like on the inside. I did.
I would have loved that. I
would've been
loved it if
awesome.
you
That
did.
was the only one he got me, and I had no idea who was grabbing me, and he just stared at me, and I was like, I can't scream like a girl, but I want to.
Fair enough. Would you guys go back?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah.
go back
Yeah.
like this weekend.
That's
I
a
mean,
yeah for me, dog.
Yeah. So obviously we mentioned, obviously they're open for Halloween. They're open for Valentine's Day as well. Would you guys consider this to be a potential Valentine's Day themed date?
That'd be really romantic.
It would be really romantic,
If we're not
right?
in Florida.
Yeah, if we're not in Florida, and if the St. Patrick's Day one has interest to me.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be kind of fun.
See, so
It's a
okay,
drinking day.
so I fucked up the so I got them confused. So there's Fright Kingdom in Nashua.
Okay.
They do Christmas and Valentine's Day. There is a Fright Haven in Connecticut.
That does St.
They
Patrick's
do
Day.
Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and St. Patrick's Day. I researched it. It's like a 3.5 hour drive. It's like on the New York
Yeah, that's-
line.
yeah,
So it's a
and-
little bit far. The St. Patrick's Day one, though, I'm into, obviously. I would love to see that with, like, banshees and fucking leprechauns and all
Yeah.
that shit. I'd be down.
That's like a weekend.
But I honestly, I feel like I would go back to this every Halloween.
I mean, I would go to Halloween, and even honestly,
I want to see this done for Halloween strictly now, having gone to this for the first time.
I would go to
themed
the Christmas one again.
I would too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like this might be like almost like Gremlins for me.
Right.
Gremlins is a yearly December rewatch. I would do this every fucking year. I had so much fun. And I'm glad you guys came with, and I hope you guys had as good of a time as we did too.
We did. We had a great
Yeah.
time.
It's a blast.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was a good
Perfect.
day.
Maybe
Fun
next
times.
time Andrew can come.
I hope Andrew.
Right?
I hope Andrew comes next time and he can remember it. That's what I'd say. That's what I'd say. Guys,
Hey, Andrew, miss you so much.
guys, any final thoughts on Fright Kingdom: The Fright Before Christmas before we put a bow on this bitch? Christine.
No, I think it was awesome for something that doesn't like to be scared. I had a great time.
There you go. You heard it. You heard it there first. So, fun for casual horror fans,
Yes.
which I feel like is essential for something like this. You can't just appeal to hardcore horror fans. You have to appeal to everybody. And there were a lot of kids there too. Like it was scary, but it wasn't like that scary. Like you could go. It's fun.
I think they took it down a little bit for Christmas, and I mean it was a great time. I had no idea what to expect, and then I had a great day. So chalk it up to that.
All right. Kat?
I think that as a horror fan and a horror podcaster, to have something to go to beyond the Halloween season is awesome. Like, it's so fun.
I'm with you.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I can actually go to like a haunted house in December or February or March.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't they do one a month?
You
somewhere.
Could, I'm amazed.
Like,
so I would think you could do an Easter one with Easter bunnies.
Oh, absolutely.
You could do. I mean, May and June.
Well,
might
if you
be
think
tough.
of like when we went to Halloween Horror Nights and they had the holiday haunted house and they had every holiday.
I remember that.
We went to
Halloween. It was called H&R Blood and Guts. H.R. Blood and Guts Holidays of Horror.
So they had like a turkey one where they were carving up like a body, and they had the Easter bunnies that were super weird looking, and crazy Santa with Krampus and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they had Halloween. They had like all of this crazy messed up stuff in one little haunted house, and I was like, that was really creative.
Yeah.
But now, like, seeing Krampus haunted house, I'm like, why don't they do that for like every holiday?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, as a fan of the haunt industry and being scared and horror movie and all things horror, I think we need more of this. It's a great idea to do this outside of the Halloween season. I would imagine that there is a huge interest in this, and I hope they made a lot of money. There should be more things like this. I would love to see more haunted attractions do this. But with that being said, I think this is a truly, as I mentioned, truly unique experience that if you like horror, if you like haunted attractions, if you like Halloween, if you like Christmas, you got to try it. You got to do it at least once. So go see Fright Kingdom, whether it's in October, whether it's in February, whether it's in December. Go see them. Go do it. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome haunted attraction that I cannot recommend enough. And go to our Instagram page and look at some of the photos that I took, which I have way, way, way more, but those were the best ones that I took. It's just a fucking phenomenal experience. So that's what I'd say. To wrap things up.
I say.
All right. I say,
boy.
All right, folks. So I think it's going to do it for another episode of America's Hometown Horror. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Andrew, if he makes it back alive from South Carolina. My name is Mike. I have been joined by my co-hosts, Kat, Seth, and Christine. Guys, thanks so much for coming on.
You're
and
welcome.
I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Great time.
If you're interested in more of the random bullshit that we have to say, here's where you can find us on the following social media platforms, including our website, ahpod.com. It's ahhpod.com. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. Just go on there, search for America's Hometown Horror, and you will find us. We'll pop up, subscribe, like, mash the bell, do whatever the fuck you want. Also, we're on Twitter at Hometown Horror, and we're on Instagram, which is probably where we're the most active. We are at Hometown Horror Pod. And if you feel so inclined, you can shoot us an email at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find our show, hey, guess what? Wherever you're listening to us right now. But we're also on Apple, Google, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, and wherever the fuck else you may get your podcasts. So how about that? We're everywhere. Guys, thanks again. Can't thank you enough. Hope you had fun tonight, as much fun as you had at the haunted attraction on Sunday. And
Oh, that much fun. I'm just kidding. No, I'm sorry. I can't do that either. You can cut all that out.
say goodbye to your listeners, folks. Bye.
Bye.
Adios, muchachos.
Good evening. I'll say, now we should say what Andrew usually says. What does Andrew say? Goodbye, you worms. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.